Hi, my name is Judy van Niekerk, and I am author of the best-selling book Against the Grain with the legendary Brian Tracy, as well as founder of the Sacred Leadership Institute and also Startup South Africa. Where I train entrepreneurs like you and also aspiring entrepreneurs to exponentially grow their income, their life, and their success through the transformational principles that I train in my various programs. So, welcome to the first in a series of videos that I will be delivering to you over the next short while, where I will share with you some principles, some of the transformational principles that I teach in my programs that you can apply straight away. Now, specifically, the material that I'll be teaching will be in the Launch Yourself program, as well as some of the material in Charge Your Challenges program that I have. Both of those programs fall under Sacred Leadership Institute. Now, one of the reasons, and often people say to me, well, why is it that I'm just not getting to where I would love to get to? Well, one of the reasons that we don't achieve what it is we would love to achieve is that we're not clear on it. And the more we are not clear, the more hazy it is, and the more we just plod essentially through life. You can't get up today and expect a different outcome than yesterday if you don't do anything different, if you don't have a different outlook, a different structure, and a different goal. The more in which you are clear, the extent of what you get in your life is equal and exactly equal to the extent in which you are clear about what it is that you would love. So to be clear about what it is that you would love to have, what you'd love to be, and what you would love to do are critical elements in achieving success in your entrepreneurial endeavors as well as in your life. We have grand ideas for sure about having a BMW or a beautiful house or a large bank account and be able to afford phenomenal holidays overseas. We have these grand ideas, we have these dreams, and I guarantee you, as an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, that is one of the reasons, that's one of your drivers, is to make money, to have these wonderful things. But what is missing is, how are we going to get there? How is it? What steps do you need to take? And what in detail is going to take you there? And that is what I will be training. That is what I will be sharing with you over these next videos, in getting clear about what it is you want, what it is you would love in your life, what it is you would love to be and to do and to have, and what is your driving force in your life, and what is your passions, what are your passions, and what is it, or how can you monetize it? What is it that you would be most inspired by in doing business, and what it is you would love to do in your business, and how would you love to be of service during your time here on this planet? Now, I hope by now that you have downloaded the book, the Release the Inner Entrepreneur Within You, which I'm offering on the website, Startup SA website. That's www.start-upsa.com. It's available to download. It is full of the basic tips of entrepreneurship. But what I'm going to do over the next few videos is we're going to go deeper into what it is that you need to do to be clear about what it is you would love to do, what business you would love to do. Because people often ask me, well, should I be setting up this business in this economy? Should I be doing this business or that business? Or I would love to start a business, but I don't know what. Well, my answer to that is that it's like, take two circles, draw on a piece of paper, two circles, and have them overlapping. And on the one circle is where all your passions are, whether they be speaking. For me, for example, they're speaking, they're writing, they're training. That is what I love to do. And on the other side, there's money-making opportunities. So what are the opportunities around you that you could make money on? And where those two circles overlap, so where your passions overlap, money-making opportunities, in that area is the sweet spot. That is the area that we need to identify and be clear on. And then we start honing in on that element alone. and monetizing that. That is where you're going to be so inspired. You're going to love what you do. And also remember, the more inspired you are, the more creative you are. And the more inspired you are, the more you will draw customers and clients to you. And more people will be prepared to pay for your service because you will love what you're doing and you will be great at what you're doing and you will offer a phenomenal service. So that is the first step that we need to do. Now, and I have a saying, your highest point of potential income lies in your passions and your talents. So that is what we need to identify. That's what we need to get to. Now, the definition of an entrepreneur is that's being paid for solving other people's problems. Now, you will have talents and passions that you can monetize that will solve other people's problems. That is as simple as it gets. No more complicated than that. Now, that is what we will do over the next few videos. We will get to that point. And then it's just a matter of putting in best practice. And that is what I do in my Launch Yourself program. And we're very fortunate today because we're living in a completely different paradigm that as a result of recent economic disasters, or whatever you would call them, the economic meltdown. What has come out from that is a new paradigm and a new approach to business that needs to be applied, that there is no barrier to entry anymore with entrepreneurship. You don't need expensive setups. All you need is an internet connection and your passions, and to know how it is you're going to monetize your passions and to solve other people's problems. That's as simple as it is. I mean, in the old days, you needed an office, you needed telephone lines, you needed fax machines, and a phenomenal infrastructure that is no longer needed. So the opportunity is now, and never has it been such a phenomenal opportunity as it is now. So what I would love you to do is follow through. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take you through an exercise where we're going to uncover what your values are, what it is that you are, who you are, what it is that makes you tick, because there are no two people with the same set of values. Although we constantly try and be the same as somebody else, or we constantly inject other people's values into our life, but I will explain that in the next part of this video. So what I would love you to do is to stay with the program. We're going to go through to do an exercise now, and I will see you on the other end. And this will be if you go through this process, it will be a transformational program for you. It will be a transformational series of exercises for you. This has taken me many years to get to this point. I was struggling. I didn't have clarity. I was doing the same thing day after day, not seeming to get anywhere forward, not moving forward. And, I would start a business and it would just chug along. I wouldn't get to a point where I felt satisfied until I started realizing that it's the clarity and it's being inspired and it's using my talents and my passions and overlapping that with where the money-making opportunities are and understanding what I have to offer that will solve people's problems. So it's taken me a long time, and this is the tools that I have used to get me to where I am today. I speak all over the world. I speak in South Africa, I speak in the UK, I speak in the United States. I have written a best-selling book with the legendary Brian Tracy. I have 2 radio shows. I have a podcasting show. I communicate and liaise with world leaders on the issues around entrepreneurship. And I would say that I'm pretty successful in what I do. And these are the tools that I have used to get me from having nothing to where I am today, where literally the world is my oyster. And I wish that for you too. And I intend to give you those tools over the next few videos for you to do that. So please stay with the program. I'll see you on the other side of the exercise. Good luck, enjoy, and have fun. Okay, and the next piece of work that we need to do, the next thing we need to look at is, what are your values? What is it that makes you tick? What is it that you love most? What is it that makes you who you are? Because once you understand who you are, once you understand who you authentically are and what your values are, then it's easier, so much easier to become so much more clear about what it is you would love. Your value structures essentially are a set of values, and we all have a purpose in life, and we experience events in life that form who we are, which also gives us the tools to live and achieve that purpose that we innately have, that we're born with. And through these experiences, we all develop a self, a character and personality that frames who we are. And this is often called our passions or our values, and is as unique to each one of us as our fingerprints. And no two selves are the same. Your values will not be the same as your parents, your siblings, your friends, your significant other. They'll be completely different. And I've called this innate self our authentic self. And by living in accordance with and in tune with who our authentic self is, we remain empowered and inspired, and what's most important, most creative. See, in today's society, with so much information available on and the ever-changing, fast-paced lifestyle that we all live, there is a vast emphasis on idolizing celebrities, aspirational brands, and consumerism, so much so that we lose touch with who we are. And we take on other people's personas, and we take on other people's values. We live by society's demands. And this, together with dealing with the demands of family, community, culture, and our religion and scientific beliefs, these all can be so overwhelming. Now, this is most freeing experience in knowing your authentic self. It's so powerful. It's so empowering. Through knowing and being true to who your authentic self is and what you would truly love for yourself, then you become so much more clear what you would love. And only when you love yourself can your life, well, not only when you love yourself, but when you know yourself, can your life be inspired and fulfilled, and have a peace of mind and a sense of peace, a peace in body and soul. And loving yourself is the foundation of all you can do. And you can only love yourself if you really know yourself. It is the cornerstone that will ensure your inspired life. You cannot create wealth without inspiration. Inspiration is the crux, is the secret tool that you need to have in order to create your wealth, your inspired wealth. Without inspiration, you don't use the phenomenal intelligence that exists within you. Without inspiration, you find it difficult to be creative, to overcome challenges. With inspiration, it is effortless. It is an exciting journey. And you get that inspiration through loving yourself and through knowing yourself. And through loving yourself, you'll have increased confidence, increased self-worth, and the higher your self-worth, the higher your potential income earning is. You'll have greater calmness and greater creativity. The extent you love yourself will be matched with the amount of love you will receive in life. And it's by living your authentic life that you are most valued in society and where you will serve most effectively. You are inspiring and serve others around you when you are inspired. There is no substitute for inspiration. And we will go into that more. What is inspiration? How do you access that inspiration? How do you get to know yourself? We will unpack that as we go forward in this program. Okay, and welcome back. Now I trust you've got pen and paper, and we're going to go through the exercise. Now it's a very involved exercise, so the beauty of doing it on video like this, at least you can stop the video at any stage. You can go back over it if you're unsure, and just relook at what you've done and redo it again, because it is quite involved, and it's important that you follow each of the steps carefully. And if you do, you'll be rewarded with a great outcome. So, what we're going to do, we're going to start off with part 1, and what I would love you to do is take a deep breath, and give yourself, good 20 minutes to do this exercise. Connect with your heart. Go down into your heart and ask for guidance from your heart. This is heart work. It's not from the brain, it's not from the head. Your heart is 5,000 times more powerful magnetically than your brain. So with a deep breath, imagine your mind going into your heart, and you're going to ask for the answers from your heart. So question 1A, ask, as you look back on your life today, as far back as you can, to your early childhood, write down the experiences and challenges that you have had that stand out in your heart today as forming and molding who you are, and has had an impact on your life. Write down, it could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 7. Just write down a few from your heart. What are the experiences and challenges that you have overcome, that you've experienced, that you've had, that stand out in your heart, that have molded and formed who you and what you are today? For example, as a child, were you abandoned by your father? Did you have an alcoholic parent in the house? Were you abused? What were those experiences that still affect you today? In my case, for example, I was abused by my father. I was raped for many years, and that certainly been one of the challenges that I have experienced that have molded and formed me, who I am today. I was beaten a lot. I wasn't allowed to go to school, so they were experiences. So I denied education. So they were some of the experiences I have. What are your experiences and challenges that you feel in your heart have molded and formed who you are today and has an impact on your life today? Were you bullied at school, maybe? Were you an only child? Did you feel that was a challenge? Whatever it is, were you misunderstood as a child? Whatever it is, just write down a few experiences and challenges that you feel have formed and molded who you are today and has an impact on your life today. And then question 1B, is there a pattern in those answers? Is there a pattern? Did it happen? Was it the similar thing that happened a few times in different ways? For me, the pattern was I was overpowered by in many of my experiences as a child, or as a teenager, have it being beaten or being raped, being denied education, being overpowered was certainly a pattern for me. So what was the pattern for you? And write that down. So, was there a number of incidences where you were made feel stupid, for example, or unable to achieve, or bullied, or abused in any form whatsoever? Remember, there are so many different forms that challenges and experiences can be experienced. And then question 1C, how did you compensate? How do you compensate for that in your life? Excuse me. For example, if you were made feel stupid, are you an overachiever today? Do you spend much of your time learning? If you were bullied or abused, do you nurture and empower people? If you were desperately poor and felt enormously embarrassed about it, is building wealth important to you now? And will you do anything it takes to build wealth now, including going out of your comfort zone in order to learn and understand more about business and building wealth? What is it? Again, for me, I was very, very poor as a child. In fact, one time I had to eat dog food. I was so hungry, we had no food. So I love entrepreneurship. I encourage entrepreneurship. I work with people in building their wealth through entrepreneurship. And I love to empower people. People who have historically been overpowered or feel overpowered or don't feel empowered. That is what I love to do. I love to work with people to empower people, specifically in entrepreneurship, in building wealth. So, how is it for you? How do you compensate for it in your life today? Very often, what we perceive as voids in our early life become core to who we are as we get older, in a constant attempt to fill that void. For example, I felt that I had a void. I wasn't educated. I didn't go to school. So I spend so much of my time now learning, researching, reading. I read hundreds of books. I read hundreds and thousands of articles. I study people's work from all over the world. And I have a constant hunger for learning. Now, it comes from the void of not having education as a child. And these events, they have shaped you, and they've shaped your authentic self and given you the tools to live your life on purpose and to be fulfilled. So for example, in my experience, being overpowered by my father, being brutally raped and beaten so often, and not allowed to go to school and not having education, that has molded and formed me into who I am today. I provide programs and I train entrepreneurs who haven't had necessarily access to the best wealth, the best education, and are struggling to find their feet. And so what I do is I train entrepreneurs to exponentially grow their income and their life and their success through the transformational principles of the new paradigm that we're living in today, the phenomenal opportunities that exist today. And that is part of what I'm doing here now with you, is I'm training you to unlock a deep core of you that will allow you to be phenomenally inspired to create your entrepreneurial success. And these are essentially the first steps that I tend to offer in my various programs, specifically Launch Yourself, which is a powerful 12-week program that I take entrepreneurs through. So look and see in your life, how has it molded? How have your experiences molded who you are, and the voids that you perceived you had as a child? How do you attempt to fill that void today in your life, and how is that you filling that void? By virtue of you filling that void, how is that a tool for you in your life? How does it work for you? What are the benefits for you? Once you understand that all of life is balanced, irrespective of our perceptions, we can start to see exactly how the experiences and the challenges that we endure are all part of our growth and development, and they guide us along the path for our purpose. By denying the balance of these events, we only see the lie of the experience, which drives us further away from our authentic self. If you deny the fact that those experiences gave you phenomenal tools, then you're not going to be able to use those tools as effectively as you could. because you remain charged, you remain resentful, angry, humiliated, and pained by these experiences without seeing how they have shaped you in your life. I do have another program, Unlock Your Inner Technology and Charge Your Challenges, where we do actually, I do actually take people who have experienced challenges that they are battling to overcome, or battling to see or realize the perfection or the balance in it. I take them through that program. But that's another program. But just for the purpose of this exercise, I want you just to now figure out how you fill the voids that you perceive you had as a child, and how they are tools, powerful tools in your life that you can use to create your entrepreneurial success and your financial freedom. And then answer this question 1D. In what element of life does this compensation occur? Remember, which of the 7 elements do you give energy to filling this void? Is it family and relationships? Is it vocation and career, financial and wealth, physical and well-being, community and culture? What of the 7 areas? Which of the 7 areas? For me, it's certainly vocation and career, with some family and relationships. My family, my husband is extremely important to me. That's very important to me. And then after that, financial and wealth. So those will be the top 3 for me: vocation and career, family and relationships, and financial and wealth. So what is it for you? Where do your areas of compensation occur? In which area of life? Because when you're clear about that, it's amazing. You then give yourself permission to focus on it. That's a very big realization, that when you realize that where maybe you have assumed that family and relationships has always been number 1 for you, but in actual fact, it may be vocation and career. But when you acknowledge that, it is it's enormously relieving and enormously empowering. So what element does it occur for you? Where does your compensation occur? Where are you trying to fill the voids that you have perceived you had as a child, that are now today are tools for you, and in what area of life is that happening? Remember, I said that I was denied the ability to go to school, and I felt overpowered. I was extremely poor. So in my effort to fill that void, is I constantly learn and research. And then what I do is I train people who feel they've been overpowered, and to empower them in entrepreneurship, where they can build their own inspired wealth. So it's vocation and career is where I largely compensate for the voids and the experiences I had as a child. So what is it for you? And then question 2, what are your talents? What do you absolutely love doing, and what are you great at? Everybody has talents. Everyone has things that they're really good at, and everyone has things that they really enjoy doing. Now, one of the giveaways for if you think about your life, one of the giveaways is when to trying to find out what is it that I really love, or what is it I'm really good at, is when think about a time when you've done something or you were doing something and it just flowed. It was just amazing. It flowed with such ease and the time passed phenomenally. It was almost like you were in a different zone completely. You were completely absorbed by what it is you were doing, and time flew by. You didn't notice time going, and it was just effortlessly creating for you. It was just soul food for you. Think back to a time or an experience that you had, and you may have experienced that, where time flew and it was just amazing experience. you were in what we call the flow. That is a real giveaway for identifying what it is that you love doing, or what you're great at. Because remember that what you would have experienced there is pure inspiration, phenomenal inspiration. And that is the zone that we would love to live all the time. And by doing this process and these exercises over the next number of videos, we'll get to that. We'll get to be closer to living in the flow as much as possible, because there's just permanent inspiration in that flow. So what are your talents? What is it that you love doing, and what are you great at? For me, I love talking. Obviously, you can hear in the video, I don't stop. I love writing. I absolutely love writing. And I love empowering people. I love inspiring people. I love art. I do oil painting. I mean, I can disappear into my own world for hours when I'm oil painting. So what is it for you? And then what do people compliment you on? Think back over the past years, and what is it that people have complimented you on? And you will find that they are similar. You know, some people have said to me, I'm an inspiration. Other people say I'm inspiring. Other people say that I've got such energy. Now that is something people compliment me on. That is something that I would put down. People compliment me on my ability to write. So what do people compliment you on? And write down as many as you can, as many as you wish. Even often it may even seem trivial, and this is an important point actually, because I've experienced this so much myself. It may actually seem to be trivial, but people are amazed by your talent. So it may be trivial to you, but people are amazed by your talent. Because you are talented in an area, it is second nature, and you enjoy it. It's not hard work to you, but to somebody else it would feel impossible. Because they're not talented in that specific area. Their talents lie elsewhere. I can write a book. In fact, the book I'm about to release shortly, it's called IVF, Birthing Your Entrepreneurial Success. I being inspiration, V for value, and F for finance. And where those three overlap is your sweet spot. But we'll go into that more as we go forward. But that book, I literally wrote it in 3 weeks. And some people say to me, how could you do that? Because often it takes people years to write a book. But to me, it was second nature. I just love writing. It's no big deal. But to somebody else who doesn't write easily, it is a big deal. But their talent will be somewhere else. And I will feel likewise the same in their area of talent. My husband is a phenomenal singer. My goodness, he'll be releasing a CD soon. And I just look at him and think, how can you do that? I can't do that. I can't sing for love nor money. So then to answer this question, 2C, what are the similarities between what you love, what your talents are, and what you love doing, and what people compliment you on? What are the similarities? And then 2D, this is an important question. And what I want you to do is I want you to highlight the answers to these questions. List the top 3 that are the same, similar, or overlap. So rewrite the top 3 that are similar, the same, or overlap. And then 2E, which of the 7 elements of life do these mostly show up in? So which area of life? Is it vocation and career, financial and wealth, family and relationships? What is it? Well-being and physical. What is it which of the areas or elements of life do your talents show up in, or the areas that people compliment you in? Again, for me, it's in my vocation, or very much in my vocation, or in my relationships. And then this is a critical question. Go back into your life, or your life today and in the past. What kind of environment do you love to be in? Where are you most vital and alive and invigorated? What environment do you love to be in? Do you love to be in nature? Do you love to be in a city? Do you love to be in your home? What is the environment that you are so phenomenally inspired by? For me, I need to be by water. If I look by the sea, if I see the sea, watch the waves, and if I can't be by the sea, it's rivers, but moving rivers, fast moving rivers, or tidal rivers. Because if I can see water, I feel so inspired. I feel alive. It's just amazing. After water, after sea and rivers, it would be phenomenal ancient architecture. Oh my goodness, I just can't get enough of that. That is just phenomenal for me. So, what is it for you? What kind of environment do you love to be in? Is it a forest? Is it green hills? Is it the Karoo type environment? Arid, semi arid environment? Or is it at home? Is it in your school? Is it in your youth club? Is it wherever it is? What area, what environment is it that you are most inspired by, that you love to be in? Just take note of that. Be aware of that. And then we go on to part 2. Now, this all may seem to be very overpowering and very, too much. But hit the pause button and go back. Go back over it. Because that's the beauty of these sort of videos. So just go back over it, take a break, and come back to it. If you're unsure about anything, again, just pause and go back. It is very valuable information that we're working through here, and it is intensive information as well. So, what I would love you to do now is write down, this is question 4A, write down a list of what is important to you, irrespective of whether it is in your life right now or not. So what is it that is really important to you that you would love to achieve? And the best thing I would do here, the best thing I could advise you to do here is go back to your childhood. Go back to your early childhood. And what were your dreams? What did you really want? What did you want in life? As you grew up and as a teenager, what is it that you really, really wanted in life and would love to have had in life? Wanted to be, wanted to do, wanted to have. What was it? What was that? Because often with the pressures of education and learning and growing up and society and finances, we lose touch and we sort of fall into a life without it being planned, without it being crafted. Because at the end of the day, we are the author of our lives. We are the director of our lives. We're the script writer of our lives. But very often, we don't take that control and do that. We just bumble along in life, almost oblivious. So you're going to commit now today to taking that step to being the author of your life, clearly planned, clearly designed, clearly crafted, edited to perfection. So this is what we are doing here. So it is your decision. It is your choice. The time is now. Too often we wake up. You wake up later on in life and think, how did I get here? What happened? What happened to my plans? Where was I going? Where did my dreams go? It's because you did not take the pen and script your life consciously, deliberately, carefully crafting your path. And that is what we're going to do now today. So write down what has been important to you. As I said, irrespective of whether it's in your life right now. So if Having a soulmate relationship is important to you. Write that down if that's something you've always wanted. If it's having children, write that down. If it is having a phenomenally successful business, write it down. If it's being an inventor, whatever it is, write it down. Without judgment and from your heart. Remember, if you use your mind, it will bring in judgments and play tricks. Because the brain will run from a perceived pain and towards what we infatuate with. So if we use our heart, we will write from inspiration. Our heart knows the truth. It knows that there is no need for judgment and there is balance to everything that happens. So if you write from the heart without judgment, you won't question it. It will be. If you write it from your mind, you'll come up with all sorts of excuses why you second guess it and why you think, no, I can't do that, I'm not worthy of that, or I'm not clever enough, or whatever it is. So write from your heart without judgment. So 4B, you're going to take each of those that you wrote down in 4A of what's important to you. And you're going to write a reason why is it important to you. So for me, I want to be a world-known speaker. So why is it important to me? Because I get to empower millions, and that is so inspiring to me. So that's a reason why being an internationally renowned speaker is important to me. And remember, a very important quote, passion and success are inseparable. If you have a passion for something and you go for it, success is inevitable. So just a word of caution here, really. A common one that people would love is money or wealth. And it is something, obviously, it's something that's important to people, to a lot of people. So if you write down money, write down what does money mean to you. So when you say money is important to you, what is it about money that's important? What does money mean to you? Is it financial security? Is it stability? Or possibly material or spiritual freedom? What is it that why is money important to you? So be more specific. So if you're tempted to say money is important to you or great wealth is important to you, why? Ask yourself why. It may well be that money is important to you, just having money, it's fine. But just ask yourself, do you want money because you want financial security, stability, or material wealth? What is it? Or is it freedom? Is it a form of freedom that you can go and feed your quest for spiritual freedom? And another very important point I would love to point out right now is, and something that I teach in my Sacred Leadership Institute, is that spirituality and materiality are not mutually exclusive. We are taught in society that they are, that you can't be spiritual if you're seeking material wealth, or you deny your spiritual self if you're seeking materiality. So often, think about it yourself in your own community. How often do you come across people who are extremely wealthy and extremely rich and feel that they got there because they screwed people and they're not spiritual, or they, whatever it is? We have this perception in society, this incredibly false perception that spirituality and material wealth are mutually exclusive. They are not. They are, in fact, one of the same. Because by being spiritually aware or spiritually alert or questing for spiritual growth and denying that money is important to you or wealth is important to you, you're only acknowledging half of you, because wealth is important, of course it is, because if spiritual growth is important to you, then surely struggling for money would hinder your spiritual growth, because so much of your emphasis and effort will be going into securing stability. So they're not mutually exclusive. So let's get that one out of the way. So go wild and mix up your spiritual needs and your material needs, and just, they both deserve equal attention. And remember, if it's financial stability, for example, then state that. Money and wealth is a very subjective, and it means different things to different people. And by being really clear on what you most desire, that is most important to you, you can focus on that, and without distraction or confusion, and live according to your value structure with clarity. So write down from 4A the list of what is important to you, and then 4B, why is it important to you? And then from the list 4C, from the list above, from this list, compare what you've written in number 1 and 2, and ask yourself which is more important to you. And then compare the selected one with number 3, and then compare the selected one with number 4. So for example, and go through this exercise until you've gone through all the 7 to select which one is truly number 1 to you. Okay, let me explain that a bit more detail. So say you've got 7 things that are very important to you with the reasons. What I want to do is take number 1 and number 2, and which of those 2 is most important to you. And if you can't decide, think about it. Well, if I had 1 but never could have 2, would I be happy with 1? Or if I had 2 but never could have 1, and would I be happy with 2? So which one is the most important? So let's say number 1 is the most important to you. Then you take that and number 3 and say, okay, which of those 2 is most important to you? Is it number 1 or is it number 3? If I couldn't have 1, would I be okay with 3? If I couldn't have 3, would I be okay with 1? So which is most important? Let's say in this case it's number 3. So then you go to number 4 and say, okay, number 3 and number 4, which is most important? And say you select number 3. And then you take number 3 and number 5, which is most important? And then you take and let's say you still say number 3, then you go number 3 and number 6, which is most important? And let's say, for example, it's number 6. Then number 6 and number 7, which is more important? And if you say number 6. So number 6 then is the most important to you. So you mark a number 1 next to that one. And then do the same for the next 6. Go number 1 and number 2, which is more important to you? And let's say you choose 1, so number 1 and number 3, which is more important to you? And so on. You keep doing that until you've got, in order of priority, your top 3. So at least your top 3. Go through the 7, but at least go and get the top 3 that is most important to you. So the top 3 that's most important to you is really part of really the most dominant part of your authentic self-value structure. So what we're going to do now is part 3 is your statement. This is your authentic self-value structure. So what I want you to do is write down, I, insert your name, in my case Judy van Niekerk, honor my authentic self by acknowledging my power, talents and passions and loves, the element in life that I am most inspired by. So remember, this will be the answer in 1D, and this will be the answer in 2D if it is different. If it is not different, then you can take that out. Then you say, I am energized and recharge myself in what environment? Remember, this will be the answer in number 3. Which environment for me it was be by the sea or the river or by historic buildings and architecture. My life has demonstrated to myself and others that I'm truly talented in. So write that down from what you took out from your talents and what people compliment you on. And when I engage in these activities, I am deeply fulfilled and passionate about what I am doing, and I love and value. Here you will put in the answers from the 4D. You'll put the questions from 4D, what you love and value. So then I'm grateful for giving myself the time to do this, and I commit to living authentically to my true self. Congratulations on taking the time to do this exercise. You've taken a powerful step in unlocking your inner technology and will guide you to a loving, fulfilled, and inspired life. Now, if you have any questions, I want you to comment down below. Put your comments down below. Any issues, any complications, any hiccups you're encountering, don't worry. Write them below and I will answer them. So, as I said, it can be overpowering, but the beauty of this technology is that you just pause it and go back over it. And when you have written out your statement, your authentic self-value structure, print it out or write it out and have it with you and read it every day, because that is valuable. That is a very valuable statement for you to acknowledge. And as you're going through your life, you will make decisions and structure your life in a way that is in line with your values as you've stated in that statement. And just watch for the next few days how it impacts your life, how knowing that information has impacted your life. And please do share it on the links below. So we can, if you have any questions, as I said, I will comment and I will respond. So the next step we're going to be taking in the videos in the future, or the next few days, will be to do your purpose. Find out what it is your purpose is and what you would love to be, do, and have in all 7 areas of your life. And then have a mission statement. So your mission is essentially your road path to achieving your purpose. So once you've completed that, you can continue your journey by signing up with the Launch Yourself program. That's a powerful 12-week program, and literally it just takes a couple of hours a week to define, refine, and create steps towards your powerfully fulfilled life. So essentially it is a program that roadmaps your entrepreneurial business. We will be covering topics like marketing and branding and internet marketing, internet business, website development, building customer base, service, honing your product, funding, crowdfunding, collaboration, and essentially covering the new paradigms in business and how the future of exponential technologies is changing the business landscape of the world, and how the global economy is about to shift phenomenally as more and more entrepreneurs enter the global marketplace through the internet. And with 3 billion people coming online in the next few years, people like yourself, people from developing countries as well, it's going to change the way in which business is done. So if you found that the authentic self-value structure statement is not flowing and does not feel congruent, then go back and look at where you may have been injecting outside values or priorities or concepts and ideals from other areas. So go back over it a couple of times. If that final statement doesn't resonate, doesn't make you feel tremendously inspired from your heart, just go back over it and do it again. And the more times you do it, you may just be slightly off the mark in a couple of areas, but the more times you do it, the better. And do not be alarmed if you feel that what has come up is not completely showing up in your life at the moment. This may be because you're living in conflict with your authentic self. But we'll work on that as we progress through these videos. So print out the statement, place it somewhere obvious, on your wardrobe door, bathroom mirror, somewhere where you will see it often, and consciously observe and read it regularly, and consciously observe when and where you are not being authentic according to your statement, and ask yourself why. You have the power and the choice to change the behavior which is causing you conflict. And remember, you serve those around you so much more powerfully by being authentic, creating a sense of calm, peace, and fulfillment than you do in conflict, leading to frustration and procrastination. Well, I hope you found that exercise incredibly beneficial. I hope you found it useful. It will go a long way to assisting you in living authentically and finding your inspiration. And these are the first steps that you're going to be taking. Over the next week, 2 weeks, I'm going to be sending out a number of videos, a number of training exercises where you will get closer and closer to acknowledging and being clear about what your purpose is, what most inspires you, and from there you can craft your life. Whatever it is that you would love in your life, you can craft. But it's by being clear about what it is that you would love, that is where you start. That's the starting point. Because unless you're clear, there is no inspiration. And without inspiration, everything's hard work. Everything is a challenge. Everything is a battle. And if you're not inspired, you've got conflict, you procrastinate, and it's generally not a happy place to be. With inspiration, there's fulfillment, there's joy, and there is limitless potential. So I really urge you, please do take the time to do this exercise. And as I said in the video, if you feel that you have not hit the mark, go back over it and do it again. And do it again and again until that final statement you can read and you feel goosebumps. You feel alive. You feel like it touches something inside of you. When you do that, watch what happens in your life over the next few days. Once you hit that sweet spot, watch what happens in your life over the following few days and see how more joy or fulfillment you get in your life. Well, I'd love you to comment on the links below about how your experience was with the exercise, what happened after you've completed the exercise, what happened, what was the result, what was the value to you. And watch out for my next video where we will delve into identifying what your unique purpose is. Because I'll tell you, when I did that, my life changed 100%. It's unbelievable how dramatically it changed. The time is now. It's not tomorrow. It's not next week. It's not next year. My favorite saying is, what you do today is as important as what you plan for tomorrow and dream for your future. As I've said in the video, your life is yours to script. It is yours to create. And at every given moment, if you take control of your life, at every single split-second moment, there are infinite possibilities. And I don't care where you are right now. You may have just finished school. You may be in varsity. You may be an entrepreneur already, or you may be desiring to be an entrepreneur. You may be suffering from from a failed marriage, a failed relationship, a failed business. It doesn't matter. You may be down to your last cent. It does not matter, because from anywhere a human being can come back. I know, I've done that, I've been there. There is no human challenge that you are not bigger than. None whatsoever. So take it, take control, take responsibility, and decide today that you're going to craft your life. You're going to be the author of your life. And when you are on your deathbed, many, many years from now, you're going to be able to say, when you are asked, did you do everything with everything that you had in your life? And you want to be able to say, yes, I do. I want to be able to say that. And I know I'll be able to say that. So join me on this journey. Any questions, please do comment below. And I wish you luck. But don't forget, live with power, inspiration, and enthusiasm every day. Lots of love. Bye-bye.